Hey everybody, today Rahdo runs through Trains Rising Sun, which is the expansion to 2013's Trains from AEG, although actually this is a standalone game or an expansion. So if you own Trains, you think of it as an expansion, giving you a whole bunch of new content, or you don't have to own Trains, you can just jump straight into the deep end and go with Trains Rising Sun, because this expansion adds several new features to the game, even though it works completely standalone. And now I'm going to do a very quick run through today, just showing you what's new. What does Trains Rising Sun add to the Trains formula? And because of that, if you don't know how Trains plays, you might want to hit the button right there on screen to go to my run through of the original Trains, so you can learn the basics. But assuming you're still watching, that means you must know your way around Trains. And so let's just start talking about what's new. Well, obviously, there's a bunch of new cards. There are, I haven't counted, but I think it's something like 30 or 40, I'm sure you can look it up online, new cards. They have a whole bunch of new abilities, some very, very cool stuff, like being able to convert waste into money and, all sorts of new ways you can thin your deck while you're playing, which is kind of a rarity in Trains. Lots of new things that are in there. Very, very cool. But there's one fundamentally new type of card, and those are two types of cards: attack cards and reaction cards. And this is obviously borrowing another play from the Dominion playbook. Of course, that's really Trains. I mean, I don't think anybody can deny the fact that Trains is basically Dominion crossed with a train route building game. Dominion crossed with Ticket to Ride, for lack of a better term. And so we've taken another idea from Dominion, the attack cards like Curses and whatnot, and the reaction cards like, what was it, the Cellar and the Moat, I think, were defense cards in the original Dominion. And so, like I said, there's a whole bunch of new types, or new cards with new effects, but this fundamental new concept of players being able to take attack cards. In this game I'm playing, I've got two out, Regulations and Roundhouse, and players also being able to protect themselves by getting reaction cards. So that's something that's new. And in fact, I'm actually going to play through around and show the attack and the defense, but we'll come back to that in a second, because what else is new? Well, of course, new maps. The game comes with 3 maps, in fact. One of them is Nagoya. Or Nagoya? Nah, I'm going to go with Nagoya. And it's a pretty bog standard map. I don't know if there's anything particularly special. I mean, you can see that it's pretty expensive. There's a lot of water. There's a ton of mountains to have to pay to move through on this map. But, it's a nice, solid, normal map. But what's more interesting are the other 2 maps. Chiba and Kyushu, I think is the name of the other one, or Kyushu, perhaps. But the interesting thing about these 2 maps is, you'll notice, it's a 2-player map. It is half the size of a regular map. And so, and in fact, if I were to flip the board over, you'd see the other one. On this little halvesy map, for 2 players, things get very, very tight and very tense. There's a lot more bumping elbows and butting of heads as you try to lay rail on this map. And you can see we've already, run into each other a couple times, and we're about to over here again, because the board is just really tight. Now, actually, one other thing, I've actually done this run through on the Chiba map, because I think it's actually cool, because it adds another fundamental new idea. You notice some of these cities, these 3 cities over here, have an S on them. That means that they are start cities. On this map, you aren't required to do it, but the rules recommend you play this way, and I strongly agree. It recommends that players they can't start wherever they want, like normal. Instead, they have to start at one of these 3 cities. Because this map is set up that we start over here on this side, and it's a race to get over to this side where all the cool, lucrative, big cities are, as well as, all the high point, distant provinces, distant town things, for 6 points, 5 points, 3 points, 5 points. So you start out over here, and you got to deal with all this water and all these mountains and get to the other side. And so I figured I'd show that, because I think that's actually a really cool idea, that this map actually has a little bit more design to it. I'm sure they're all very well, carefully crafted maps and all that, but I just love this new concept of the forced start, and, it kind of creates a story. And, this map has a very specific, unique feel to it. But anyway, so that's one of the new things is, new maps, 3 new maps. The other cool thing are route bonuses, where basically, now this is an optional thing, you can put them in or not. Basically every map that has ever come out for Trains so far has 5 route bonus cards. And so, there's 5 of them for Chiba. And what you do is, once you pick your map, you take the 5 cards, that are available for that map, the 5 route bonuses, and draw a number randomly equal to the number of players. So in a 2-player game, there are going to be 2 route bonuses available. And in this game I'm playing, there's this 4-point route bonus from Oami to Kamigawa, and this 3-point one from Uresu to Choshi. And interestingly, as I've been playing, I've actually successfully done this one, because what these mean is this is a race. The first player to be able to lay track connecting these 2 cities, not necessarily in a straight line like this, however you do it, the first player to do it, 2 things happen. They immediately score the points, and you can see I have done this one. I scored 4 points for this a while ago. And you also get a special ability, a one-time use. You can, at one point in the game, and I've already done this in the game I'm playing, you can discard this card to return 1 waste from your hand back to the deck. So you can thin out, and I've already done that. The other one, if somebody can get this route done, and that's tough to do because the routes are way over here, very far away from where we started. So we had to get all the way over here, and then we've got to do this one, which is tough because you got to have $5 to get in over here, and then you got to go halfway across the map. But this one is worth 3 points, and you can discard this to get an extra $1 whenever you need it. So it's an extra $1. And so what you do is you pick the ones. There's all these little tokens. So I said this is C, and I put a C and a C here, and so everybody can see at the beginning of the game there were these 2, and then there was these 2 here. Now, here's the actual route I made. I successfully did it in a straight line, going through the mountains, which was not easy. I had hoped to actually kind of come down south into Jen's territory, but you can see she kind of blocked it off and made it a bit too expensive for me to come down here, although I have come back down into her area a little bit. But over the course of the game, I did set up, and as soon as I had done this, I scored the points, and then later on, I used it to get rid of a waste card from my hand as well. So, route bonuses are awesome. I can't imagine you would ever play this game without them. And I think it's great that the game, Trains, came with routes for every map. Even the Gen Con promo maps and all the maps that have come out, there are now route bonuses available. So it's a very, very cool addition. Like it a lot. Don't think I'd ever play without it. It makes the race for the map much more interesting, much more tight, much more exciting. So, talked about the maps, talked about the route bonuses, and let's actually show, because coincidentally, I was just playing along, doing a 2-player game, and you can see the decks have gotten pretty thick. Jen, she's bought several office buildings. We've actually emptied this out. This game might actually get ended because of the weird nature of this, where we were racing, and we haven't been doing a lot of station building, and we haven't been doing as much track building because we've just been racing as fast as we can. Instead, we've been buying a lot of cards. I mean, there's only 1 more outdated train. I think there's only 2 more legal counsel. The express train is completely gone. This game, and in fact, actually, no, 3 more office buildings. This game could get ended by running out of card stacks instead of running out of tracks or stations like normal. It's really interesting. But it's my turn. This is the hand I happen to draw. This was not set up at all. This is naturally how it works. So you ended up with some waste. That's no good. And some lay rails, some more waste, bleh, and some regulations. Now, this is an attack card. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to play it, and each other player with 4 or more cards, and Jen's got 5 in her hand, if they've got a waste, they take it and they put it back on the deck so that waste will do double duty. They'll get hit twice by it. And I've actually hit Jen with this a couple times now, but this time Jen happened to have, she says, wait a minute, instead of those, you throw some regulations my way? No problem. My legal counsel will take care of it. She will, as a reaction, play her legal counsel, and my attack is wasted. And since this thing doesn't do anything else, doesn't make any money, it was basically another waste card. And so now, on my turn, all I've got is lay rails and an outdated train. I love this outdated train, by the way. It's one of the new ones. It's it only costs 2 to buy. It makes $2. It's that's the best return there is. I mean, it's absolutely it's fantastic because you can buy these really early and really get yourself kickstarted. But the downside is when you buy them, you take waste because they're outdated. And also, if you buy this, it ends your turn. So you can't buy multiple outdated trains. But so this turn I've got $2. So I could just go on ahead and spend $2 and buy the last outdated train, although it takes some more waste. But then I don't have any money to lay rails. And there's not a single free place on the board. I would like to spend $1 to get over here so I can get closer to Jen's city before she builds it up. But you know what, instead, I think I'm just going to go on ahead and spend the $2, get the last outdated train, and that means I end up having to take another waste. And so this lay rails, unfortunately, I won't get to do anything with it because I have no money. All right. And so that was my turn, and then I draw back up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, and so now Jen's turn. Now, she still got that legal counsel. She revealed it, but that doesn't mean she plays it. She just had to show it was in her hand, and so she still got it. Now, the power of the counsel is pay $1 and draw 2 cards. So Jen's going to do that. This normal train, so she'll pay that $1 with the legal counsel. The income she got from her train will pay for the legal counsel, and it lets her draw 2 cards, and she gets an office building, which is $1. Cool. And all right, okay, so she spent $1 and got 2. Nice, all right. So she's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. $6 and a waste that does her no good. And now, she has $6, but the experimental train is interesting. It's worth 2, cost 5 is worth 2, but if you want to take a waste, it can be worth 3, which is better than the best, cost $6 to get 3. This thing only costs $5 to get 3 if you're willing to take a waste. So Jen's got $6, but she could have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. She could have 7 if she wanted, if she wants to take some waste. You know what, that guy, I think she will. She'll take a waste, so she actually has $7 to spend. And what will she buy with $7? Let's see. She really wants to, if she can. You know what? No, I think she's going to buy another office building. So she takes another waste, but she scored another point. And she has $3 left. Does she want to get another station? I mean, it's a big question. This is a thick deck. This game might be over before she ever makes it through that deck. But she has $3 more to spend because she took that extra waste. And if she does get another go around, she would like to get some more stations built, so she'll go ahead and take another station expansion. All right, and so that was her turn. Then she draws 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then it's my turn again. And what did I get? Hey, more regulations. And my lawyers, wow, this is a funky hand. 2 lawyers, which means I can pay $2, which I could off of my express train and draw 4 more cards. And I'm going to hit, does she have another lawyer? Nope, she doesn't. I've gone through all her lawyers. So this time, sorry, honey pie, I just keep throwing regulations, and so that means she has to reveal. Does she have a waste card in her hand? Yes, she does. It goes back to the top of her deck. So now she only has 4 cards in her hand. All right, so, and that was it for that. That's pretty much done. I will spend the $2 from my express train to activate both legal counsels, because pay 1 to draw, so I get to draw 4 more cards. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so now I can do a station expansion, which is good. Let's see, although I think I can put another station over here in Narita, so that's pretty cool. So I'm definitely going to do that and take some waste. So that's nice. And there's some more waste. And so I've got $2, but I've also got the Yardmaster. Oh, right, yeah. The Yardmaster says, discard 2 identical cards from your hand. Hey, I had 2 waste. I'll discard those and draw 3 more. More waste. Mother legal counsel and lay rails. Okay, so, well, you know what? I'll spend this other $1 to activate this legal counsel and draw 2 more cards. There we go. All right, and some more waste. So after all that, I've got $3 to spend and some laying rails, but I also hit Jen with another. So with my, and I got another station out. So this is actually a pretty good turn. And with $3, do I want to lay some more rail? Yes, I'll definitely spend $1 to lay rail here, so I'm very close to Jen's city. And then, right, oh, and I got to take a waste for that. And for this $2, oh, wait, no, actually, I spent one of these $2 to lay that rail, and so for the other, that's it. Although, actually, did I have $3? I could have gone over here to Tsuka. Instead of here, I could have spent all $3 and gone there instead. Yeah. So that's 3 more points. 1, 2, 3. Hooray! And I'm going to stop right there because I think you got the basics. The attack cards, the reaction cards, a whole bunch more cards. But, I mean, you can look online to see what all these special powers are. But the biggest thing is the route bonus. Although the game's getting pretty close, I don't know if either of us, I mean, it would be tough for Jen. I mean, because he'd have to get through these mountains, then through me to get down here to this. And me, I'd have to get through quite a bit of her stuff to get up there. So I don't think the second route bonus is going to be worth it for only 3 points and $1 extra. But that's it, folks. That was just a quick run through showing what's new in Trains Rising Sun. If you'd like to hear some final thoughts, you can hit the button on screen or follow the show notes. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.